Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Hey, guys, it's good to see you. It's been about three shows since the three of us have been together. And we've kind of did a hash patch, hodgepodge, and hats off. A big thank you to Ben for filling in for one show, and Paul and I handled the other show. And so we got it done. But I'm glad to have you guys back because I think we're better, the three of us together. Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yep, it feels good.
Good, guys. Good.
It's
Good.
game day.
Game day, baby.
College football is back. Real football
Yeah.
that matters is back.
Yeah.
Even if it is the Huskers at 11:30, I don't care. I'm ready to watch them.
Yeah.
Hey, I am wearing my Nebraska red shirt in support of them today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
Pretty.
There we go.
It's about as pretty as my face.
Yeah. Hey guys, but before we get started, we just want to remind everybody that Terri Christensen's of Terri Sensi's sponsors us, and you can see in the background I've got my little warmer going from the 49ers that I ordered from her. And so I borrowed some butterscotch from my wife in my whole room. I started it an hour. I got up an hour early and started an hour early in here. Oh, I love butterscotch. The whole room smells like butterscotch this morning.
It's better than other smells, that's for sure. So
yeah. Okay. I just want to get Terri's website up. Reminder, we will put Terri's website up on the videos that are on Facebook and YouTube. But right now, there it is, guys. In case you want to get an early start. You can click it on easy once we get you the link during the football games today. Enjoy yourself. All right.
I'm taking over my son's former bedroom. This is how he had his bedroom, and it smells like a boy teenager. So,
so what you need is to contact Terri and
yes,
get you some gridiron
rush,
whatever.
Gridiron Rush.
Gridiron Rush. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I need one of those for this bedroom.
Yeah. Terri will be very excited if more of us order those Gridiron Rush. All right. Hey, guys, I just want to get right into it. Yesterday, I was driving to the men's church thing, and there's a talk on the radio. I was listening to one of the podcasts from back east, since it's a half-hour drive to my church. They brought up Brian Ferentz's and how he's requested a summary judgment. He's turned in a 60-page report on a summary judgment. And if you guys not sure out there what a summary judgment is, basically it's a judgment in his favor from the judge without a trial, saying either, Brian, yeah, you're right. You basically win this case because we're going to dismiss this case against you. And so that's what it's about. And the 60 pages really centers on the allegations of two players, Jonathan Parker and Aquan Wadley, who during their dispositions or disposing, when they were disposed, it turned out everything that they talked about was not truthful. Everything that they accused Brian of was either twisted or untrue or embellished and some of that stuff. So Brian's asked for a summary judgment based on the fact that the original case was based on lies. Or I'm calling it lies. The lies is not what he calls it, I don't think, or his lawyer's calling it. And so I think what we're finding out more and more is I think we're finding out that this lawsuit's just full of it. Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, I know for a fact, and I've been saying this a while because I talked to some players that were in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just take Parker's situation.
Mm-hmm.
He did get yelled at. He made a mistake in practice.
Right.
But it had nothing to do with the skin color. It was because he messed up.
Right.
And he tried to say that that Brian said it's only a black player would do that or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I talked to players that were actually at that practice, and no, Parker didn't say he didn't do anything wrong. Like, he even brought Parker into, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Parker said that I didn't do anything wrong, but Brian said that it's the only thing you made a mistake that only a black player would make. I mean, duh. You don't think those black assistant coaches or other players would have been like,
Yeah.
I mean, all this nonsense they were saying, and they're talking about the hair. Can you think of any Iowa players throughout the years that had long hair? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
I don't think they were told to cut their hair.
Mm-hmm.
You could think of quite a few players across Iowa from 2002 on, for sure. I can remember that had long hair. I mean, so all that, and that's, I mean, that right there, because we all can see with our own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually talked to players on the Willie Parker. Give me a break. What's his first name? The
Aquin?
No, Parker.
Jonathan
Parker. Yeah, the one that caught the ball at the 2-yard line in the bowl game on the kickoff.
I was there for that.
And then he ran out of bounds.
I mean, he made the mistake. We all saw that, right?
Yeah.
And there's a possibility every player makes mistakes in practice.
They do.
And he tried saying, so I know for a fact some of them are absolutely wrong or lying.
Right.
I can't say on everything, but I can just say I know for a fact some of them. And I think Brian will get, because if you guys read the report, how many Iowa players came out in defense of Brian, that wasn't just white players. I mean, it was players of, all races or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be dropped.
Yeah.
You know what I heard on this was that the summary judgment that Brian's attorneys have filed for, basically what they were saying is the players did in-person interviews, and then they were also asked to give written testimony, written answers to questions, and in a lot of the cases, the written answers and the verbal testimonies were not matching, we're not adding up, and I believe that's basically what Brian's attorneys have said to the judge in this case is, hey, look, their story's not going to hold up, and we're going to embarrass them if they decide to get in a witness box and in front of a jury. We are going to embarrass them. So, and rightfully so, because this thing's been a money grab from the beginning. And quite frankly, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and that's true.
Go ahead, Dean.
I was going to say, one of the things I do want to point out that official report that the Iowa had to investigate the thing did find some racism going on inside the program. They also found that some of that stuff, I mean, if you remember, there was 13 defendants originally in that, or plaintiffs, whatever you want to call it, in that thing, and found that most of that turned out to be not right, not correct at that time. And Paul, I know that when you and I were both writing articles for 247hawkeye.com, that we wrote about that report, and we just asked everybody to calm down and wait for the results to come out before people would rush to judgment on the team, because you and I and Nolan at the time, we just said, hey guys, these allegations could be true, they may not be true, but let's not assume that they're true just because they're out there. Let's wait until something comes out. And I don't think we ever thought this thing would get to trial, and it looks like Iowa's ready to take it to trial if they have to, so that's good. Iowa's willing to fight it.
Right.
Well, Iowa's the one with the deep pockets here. They have the most to gain and the most to lose, but they also have the most resources. And as far as that report goes, I mean, I've kind of maintained this from the beginning that that report wasn't about finding innocence or proving innocence. It was about, hey, we're already admitting that we have some issues. The question is, from an independent review, how deep do they run? And I think what they figured out is probably no deeper than any other college football program out there. That's my take.
Right.
Well, my take is it's just, I don't think it wasn't like it was known racism. It was KF's way, like his Twitter thing. Like, it's more of a military style and not necessarily like a white style or black style, or it was just KF style. He wanted, he didn't want kids to embarrass themselves on Twitter, and like he was just like trying to be the helicopter dad.
Right. Yeah. True.
So I mean, so everything I think came out in a positive way though, where now the kids have more freedoms, and I think that's what's helping recruiting. To be honest with you, have you noticed how recruiting has taken off since they changed their ways?
Right.
And it wasn't like big changes, and it wasn't racist changes. It was just giving more freedom to the players.
Right.
My question is though, for those guys, whether it's the social media or whatever, like they didn't know the policy when they were being recruited. When they're there on unofficials and officials, and they have player escorts or whatever you call them. They had nobody brought. Hey, by the way, we're not allowed to have social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
maybe they weren't allowed to bring that up
when they showed up day one, and they're getting issued their Hawkeye football shorts and their Hawkeye football T-shirts. Oh, by the way, no social media. What? No one said that to me before.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just goes back to what you were saying. All the players knew all that. The only players who came forward with all this nonsense were players that didn't make the league, who, other than Akram Wiley, didn't do anything at Iowa. So then they transferred and didn't do anything. So they're just trying to, like, it's a money grab, like you said.
Right.
Akram Wiley tried saying that they took his food card. They were trying to get him to eat.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what they would do. They wanted him to gain weight.
I know it. They kept trying to make him gain weight. So.
And then he said that because he had on a mask in the winter, that they said, hey, Brian said, hey, you gonna go rob a bank or whatever? Whatever he said. I mean, think about that. All of us, I mean, I know I did. When I had that, winter, when I was out shoveling snow or whatever growing up, people would say nonsense like that because it's a funny joke. Has nothing to do with race.
Right.
Why you automatically think because a black person has that on is going to rob a bank is nonsense. So,
by the way, I don't live in Iowa anymore, so this doesn't affect me anymore. Just you, Jason. Don't wear your face mask into a bank. I did that once.
Oh.
Yeah. And also, by the way, stories kind of come out fairly recently that Deion Sanders, he's head coaching at
Jackson State.
I love
it.
He has a couple of rules. One being no wife beaters.
It's a good one.
And I'm trying to think what the other one. I think the other one might have been like no jewelry in the weight room. And I just want to say, is that racist? Is he fostering an anti-black atmosphere there, Deion Sanders?
Well, let's say we have a black coach at a pretty much 100% black school.
It's 98%, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a few white boys on the team.
Okay.
but
I love what he's doing for that school though. And can you imagine what the Alabamas and Ohio States would go through if 5-star athletes did start going to, HBC?
Well, they did get one or two in this recruiting class.
Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if they could find a way, which I think they should, to have like another to have the NFL pro days for those schools as well, then you would start getting those athletes to go down, to HBC schools and play. I mean, that's what Nick Saban's mad about. That's what some of these coaches are mad about with what Deion's doing. Deion is Deion. Deion does not have to give money to those players to go play at Jackson State. Deion can put on clips. Everybody knows Deion.
That's right.
Kids would want, especially a defensive back, the number one defensive back in the country. Where do you think he would really want to go to be a defensive back to learn to be a pro? Deion. I mean, and they're trying to say he gave him $1 million or whatever. And I love Deion. He's like, Jackson State don't have $1 million.
Yeah, I know. And I bet. I love that. Guys, I want to segue. You talked about recruiting and how the recruiting's picked up in the last couple of years, last 3 years. Let's segue into our issue with the recruiting. Yeah, on the wide receivers, our wide receiver talent has come up lately. But what do you guys think about our injury report with all the wide receivers being hurt, even with the talent we got. We lost two. We lost two more to injury recently, and is our freshman Jason, or is it what's his name, Bostic?
Jacob Bostic.
Jacob Bostic. Is he going to be able to step up? Because obviously, for the first couple games, they're going to have to use him.
Well,
What
I
do you
don't
guys
think I don't think they're going to have to use Bostic. I hope they do. And if the score is what I'm telling you it's going to be, I am not going away from the score so far.
Okay.
The wide receiver room is only shallow because people haven't seen the receivers play. Well, like I put on Twitter and can't remember which beat writer responded to me that I was correct. Chad, I think.
Chad Lessico?
Yeah, I think he's the one who responded. Because Jack Johnson, I was hearing about Jack Johnson way before all the injuries and all that. Jack was doing great things in the spring. So, and he responded and said, yeah, Jack is looking amazing right now. So, I mean, remember Ramon Ochoa came out of nowhere?
Right.
You're going to see players like Jack Johnson come out of nowhere, not being a returner as much as like what Ochoa did, but from the receiver standpoint. And I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver sets as well, because the tight ends are looking really good. So I think we're going to see a lot of that with the fullback possibly 2, and some things like 1 tight end, 1 fullback with 2 receivers. But the receiver room is very deep. It's deeper than what everybody wants to admit, in my opinion.
Okay.
KJ's back. I think Brody will be back, but I don't know how much playing time he's going to see because he hasn't been out there to learn the system as well.
Right.
But Wick, Wetjen, all these receivers, Bostic, if they get him in certain plays that he does know. Because obviously there's going to be some plays.
Yeah.
That
walk-on wide receiver we have. I can't remember his name. Wicken? No, not that one, but the other one. Wicken?
Oh, Wetjen.
Wetjen, yeah. I just want to give a shout out because his great grandparents follow us on this webpage.
Yeah.
On our webpage.
He wants Wetjen to be the kickoff returner as well, like I do.
Yeah, I mean, if he's being compared to Charlie Jones, and he's saying he's even faster than Charlie, or he was the only one who could keep up with Charlie during the spring, I would love for him to be that guy.
I mean, yeah. I'm not sure how he could be compared to Charlie because the size difference is huge. But him and Bruce are basically the same receiver. They are. They're both short, really fast. That's why I would like to see Wetjen and Bruce both be kickoff returners.
All right.
And I just think this is a good thing for Iowa football. I know that sounds crazy, but we've talked about the running backs that we have, the running back room we've got, the kind of backs they are, and the quarterbacks and the quarterback room we have, and I would I'm fine with a 70-30 split of run versus pass, and if this means maybe more 2 and 3 tight end sets, I'm definitely all for that. I think Lachey and is it Addison Ostrenga? Is that his name?
Yep.
Those guys are going to add kind of a different kind of dimension. And I mean, outside of Wisconsin, there's not a lot of teams in the country anymore that are playing that brand of football. Everybody's defenses are designed around these spread offenses and things like that. So coming out 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 2 tights and a fullback, and just ground and pound, especially early on in the season here. I until we can maybe get everybody kind of healthy and ready to go, I don't have a problem with it at all. Yeah. And I think it's going to we'll be more successful. The fewer passes that we ask Spencer to throw, the better off the offense is going to be.
Right.
And we need Spencer throwing when we want him to throw, not in 3rd and long.
Yeah. And you guys last night had a real good discussion going on the power running versus, the other running that Tyler Goodson. How soon we forget. The type of runner that Tyler Goodson was. I mean, you guys can expound on that a little bit. Let the audience know what kind of discussion you guys were having on that last night.
Well, basically, Paul just kind of went through it, and pretty much 90% of the play action of the passes should be play action off what Paul's saying, like pound, play action. They have been putting the tight ends, though, in the slots, if you guys didn't know. So they are moving. That's how good, like, Laporta is getting as being a receiver, as they're starting to put him out in the slot. Lachey, same thing. And he's right. I wouldn't mind him spreading the field, though, with those tight ends as well and running up. Because we're not Wisconsin. Like, I know we love to say we're Wisconsin. We're that style. Now, it would work. What Paul's saying, in my opinion, would work against South Dakota State, Iowa State. But, like, when they play Wisconsin, we've tried it and tried it and tried it. I really think they got to spread out that defense. Now, I heard they only have 3 returning starters on Wisconsin, but I still think they're going to be beefy on the defense. They always are.
They always are.
So that's what I would anticipate. Now, there's people who are saying Wisconsin, it won't be as good this year because of their defense. They have like a Heisman Trophy running back again, but their defense, by the way, they put him at running back from linebacker.
Was he a linebacker originally?
He was recruited, was a linebacker, and they made him running back.
Yeah, I kind of wondered where he came because he just kind of out of nowhere all of a sudden.
So they don't care how big you are. If you have running back instincts and you have a little bit of speed on you, they'll make you a running back.
Yeah, and if you got that offensive line that Wisconsin usually has, those big 300-pound beef guys that can push defenses off the line. You know, I think I could be successful running behind those guys.
And Iowa has that this year.
They do. I'm so excited. Yeah. I think one of you guys posted about all the 300-pound linemen that they had.
Yeah, that's why Paul's idea would be, more masterful as far as, because we have beef now up front. Where last year everybody was under 300.
Right.
Jason, my question that we were kind of talking about last night though too was Iowa's zone, like the outside zone, the stretch plays and things like that.
I forgot about that.
But when people are talking about a guy like Tyler Goodson dancing too much, is some of that a product of the scheme, the way these run plays are designed? We're asking the running backs, how many times on TV broadcasts and things like that do you hear the color guys saying they're kind of lauding the patience of he's being patient, he's waiting for the hole and things like that. And now what happens when all of a sudden but that's what you're getting is you're going to take the -1, the -3, because a guy like Goodson, he either has to get to the outside quick, like that first run against Indiana last year, where he got the edge and then he was gone, right. Or he's trying to be patient. He's trying to wait and see if the defense overcommits to the stretch and then can hit that cutback lane. Well, so is it the running back dancing too much, or is it at least in part scheme?
I'll give you what it is scheme for Goodson. Goodson was not an Iowa style running back. If Mike Leach had a Goodson as a running back, holy cow, Goodson would have been everything for Mike Leach, because he would catch 100 balls, you know what I mean? And he's explosive on the runs that he would get. So to me, with Iowa, they have to have a running back with vision. This is why I compare Gavin to Sean Green. No, Gavin is not Sean Green. That's not what I mean. Mentally, he is. Why, like last year, he had 65 carries, but only lost 10 yards on that, where Goodson had 256 carries, and he lost 110 yards. And a lot of that is like Gavin, and Gavin lost 5 yards on one carry for whatever happened. Like, I think it was like an outside play, and he got just destroyed for 5-yard loss. But it's instincts of a running back. Iowa style, like you said, the zone, the running back has to be able to have vision. They have to see the hole. Goodson would run past holes. Like Goodson doesn't have the vision to actually see the hole unless it's blocked perfectly. When it's blocked perfectly, the dude is amazing. I mean, he's fast. He's got skills. You're not going to tackle him one-on-one, right? He's going to make that first guy miss.
Mm-hmm.
But in the zone, it had to be blocked perfectly because he would not see that cutback. But granted, at Green Bay, they have some similar runs, and he is cutting back. So part of that tells me that it might be the running backs coach, and Goodson just didn't know. Like, he didn't know, oh, I could cut back right here. Or he can see it better in Green Bay. Because they're doing some of that same zone stretch. If you haven't seen, he's had 3 runs. I want to say it was against the 49ers, where he gained 10 yards on all 3 runs on a cutback. It was a zone stretch. He'd go, and then, boom, he'd cut it all the way back. So part of me wonders if it wasn't coaching, because he's doing exactly what he should have been doing at Iowa now with Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for me, it's the natural instinct of the running back position, and Gavin has that, where he'll see the first hole and take it. The question is, will he break those tackles? Like, remember Sean Green? He would take that hole, and which would be the right hole. The thing is, you just couldn't tackle him, right? Mm-hmm. So Gavin has to break those first couple tackles to take his game to the next level. Mm-hmm. But he's going to set us up, and he's going to pick up more first downs than Goodson, strictly because of his instincts on the zone and cutback. Patience is seeing everything, but you're going to have a hole open up at 3 different levels. So you could see the cutback, so you're going back to the 1 hole, or you're going to see like there's be a cut to 3 hole. This is zone stretch left, where all the holes are odd, right? 1, 3. So it's going to go, he's going to have to cut back to the 1, the 3, or the 5, or even take it to the 7 all the way outside. But he has to see the first hole. The more and more patient you are, the more and more chance the defense can get there, whether you get tackled from behind like it happened to him sometimes. So that's my only issue I have with Goodson. He's one of my favorite Iowa players ever, is just his instincts in the zone stretch. In my opinion, my humble opinion, he should have got a lot more toss plays, even out of shotgun, because that's outside, that's his realm, man. That's where he could have lived. And that's, I mean, in my opinion, Iowa didn't use him the way they should have because they ran Iowa football. He went to Iowa, and he probably shouldn't have. He was great. I love him as a Hawkeye, but they didn't use him to his ability. They put running backs back there just because, right? Because they're good running backs, even though they don't have the Iowa way of running. Right. He doesn't have those instincts. And his last year, though, I honestly believe last year he was just trying not to get hurt.
I feel like with Williams, are we getting kind of a combination of Mark Weissman and Sean Green? Is that kind of a fair thing to say?
That's another reason why Wiseman was as good as he was. It's because he had those instincts as well. And the thing is, you just got to break those tackles at the first level. Right, once you make your cut, you're going to have to go through arm tackles. And Gavin showed last year, and even against Michigan, where he had 12 carries for 56 yards, where Goodson couldn't do anything, but Gavin could. It's just because he took what he got, right? What the offensive line gave him. He would break a couple tackles, but he would, I think his longest run maybe was 9 yards or something. So it wasn't like he broke a 50-yard run and then 6 yards on the next, 11 carries. He was just getting 5, 6, 3.
Steady.
Iowa just needs him to get 4 to 5 yards a carry. If he can do that, that's serviceable.
Serviceable. 4 to 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's put it this way.
Last
year, Tyler averaged under 4 in the 3s. Yeah. The year before, he averaged over 4.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's a huge difference. 1 yard makes a big difference. Guys, I want to talk to Jason here real quick because I haven't seen this news yet, and he mentioned it yesterday about David Davidoff retiring from football. How did
Yeah.
you see that? Where did you see that at? And is it official?
It's official. I mean, I don't remember how. I can't tell you who told me a lot of the things.
Okay.
So I mean, I can't just. I have. I don't know how to see. You put me on the spot, but I have people tell me things.
Right.
You know that from inside the programs.
Right.
I can't tell you who it is because then their name would get out there, and then
No.
it wouldn't be smart.
No, and I
That's
understand
why
that.
I know things.
I was thinking maybe you saw it from one of the media outlets. Or something.
I can't remember, but if you didn't see it,
I did not see it.
So I can't say that it was the media. I don't remember how I got the message. All I know is I got the message.
Yeah. I don't.
So,
and I guess my question is this guy is good enough to have an NFL career. What's going on at Iowa that he thinks he needs to retire, quote unquote, because we know when he gets to the end of the year, he's in the transfer portal and he's going somewhere else to play again. Unretire, like the guy, I can't think of the guy's name who did it at Iowa and went to Nebraska after he retired. He unretired for Nebraska.
Paul, what's his name?
Oh,
Is it Miller? Ezra Miller?
oh yeah, maybe that was him.
Yeah,
he
was part of the reason why our offensive line sucked last year because he was depending on being there last year, and he went to Nebraska.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know what's.
You mean that 3-9 juggernaut Nebraska? Yeah.
But the thing is,
grass there, buddy.
Right. The thing with David Koff was he was just having issues. I mean, I don't want to say something about the kid. I heard some things, obviously, and I told you guys some things, but we don't want to. I don't want to discuss the details of it. The bottom line is David Koff. I mean, I don't know when it will come out, but he has retired. I'm surprised it hasn't came out yet. He's not going to play, but I don't know if what they're waiting on. But he's not practicing, and he's given up on football, is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
But all that stuff that like I tell you guys, I don't have a crystal ball. People tell me, but I can't tell you people who talk to me on this thing.
No, and we understand, and we don't want to ruin your incredible sources.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, fellas, I want to take a second here and talk to you about these Scentsy washer whiffs. I don't know if you can see them here.
They're not showing up very well.
Yeah, well, so
hey, Paul, can I interrupt you for just a second? Are you sitting next to a window where sunlight's coming in?
No, I have a ceiling fan light on. Let me turn that off.
That might help.
We are one sophisticated crew here.
Hey, we're trying, dude. We're trying. We can get there, though. Our technology. Do any of us have the technology we need to update this and make it better? Like getting this on a ticker going across the bottom of our page.
That looks a lot better, Paul.
All right, perfect. So these are washer whiffs. They're basically like little beads. You put them in with you put them in. There you go. You put them in your washing machine, like when you're washing clothes. And these ones happen to be pink cotton. But I tell you, my clothes smell great. I don't mind walking around smelling a little bit like pink cotton. But these things work. They smell great. We legit get all of this stuff from Terri, and we were getting it before. So anyway, we love it, and I recommend it. You guys are washing, you're doing laundry anyway in your home, so why not give this a try? Sure, go spend the money at Walmart, go spend the money at Target. They have enough money. Here you got a chance to support a fellow Hawk fan. You got a chance to support us here on doing the pod. The prices are more than comparable, and the product is extremely good. So check out Terry's Scentsy page.
All right. Yeah, we need to work on our commercials and acting.
We do.
That was on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Now, Jason, this brings us to you because Paul and I have talked about, although only about 50 people have seen it on our last podcast, we talked about what we felt was the Big Ten situation this year, who's going to rise to the top, the cream of the crop, and the rest of the Big Ten, where they're going to end up. And we wanted to give you a chance to tell the audience, because I know you want to talk about that, so go for it.
Well, I'm not going to go in great detail because I could do a whole hour show. I'm just with the camera looking at me talking about Big Ten football.
Yeah.
But I'll start in the West. I got Iowa at 10-2. I just think this defense is so good. I don't want to hear people talk about the offense. The offense is going to be a little bit better. We're never going to have a top 50 yards wise offense. I do feel like we could have a top 75 yards wise offense this year if the third down conversion rate that we discussed in previous videos happens. I kind of compromise with Paul on the third down. I really believe they got to get to 50%, and I think they can on third down. My 55 to 60 would be my goal, if I was coaching, if I'm looking at that. But a 50% third down rate would naturally give us more yards, right? Would naturally give us more time of possession. So that's kind of where I'm going with Iowa. I don't listen to outside noise. I have my own thoughts. Nobody tells me what to think. I'll just laugh if you try telling me that, I'm an idiot, whatever. Well, I've had 5 years in a row of success. You can call me an idiot if I'm wrong this year. All right. But I have Iowa winning, and they're 10-2. Their only losses to Ohio State and Wisconsin. So I really think if they can get that Wisconsin bubble, the burst, they can be 11-1. This defense is going to be nasty. It's just the offense, and like what KF does on offense, what people don't understand. I got in this argument on Twitter, and I never should even engage, but they were making fun of KF and BF and talking about total yard stats. I'm like, that's not how Iowa wins games. So I was trying to explain, like in the second quarter of the Iowa State game, where Iowa dominated, and I didn't even realize how much they dominated. They had 18 plays for 130 yards their last two possessions of the second quarter, 2 touchdowns. They literally, Brian found something. Well, then they turned it into, we had one good quarter. No, KF, once Iowa State started turning the ball over, they just ran the ball pretty much most of the time. It was just all runs because that's what KF wants. Milk the clock. Let's kick a field goal. Give a defense another opportunity. KF style, he uses his defense as an offense. But nobody talks about the teams who run no huddle. Okay, let's just the Tennessee Volunteers. They actually run my NASCAR offense. I don't like to say it because people will think. Last year I just noticed what they're doing is like my NASCAR. It's very similar. I don't run the receivers as far out as they do, but their offense nonstop. Watch a Tennessee Volunteer game last year. They're going to have a ton of yards. They're going to run 100 plays in the game. But guess what? Their defense was tired. Mm-hmm. So, they went, 7-6? I think they went 7-6 or 6-6. Their defense would give up 40 points a game. But when you're running, so Iowa is the exact opposite, but that seems to be a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. They don't. And the reality is Georgia does the same thing, right? Georgia runs Iowa scheme. They just run it with 5-star players everywhere. Mm-hmm. They just run the ball. So, yeah, I spend more time on Iowa because obviously that's my passion. So Iowa's going to be 10-2. They're going to win the West. Second, behind them, I do have Wisconsin and Minnesota both at 9-3. And then I have Nebraska and Purdue at 6-6. So, and then Illinois, which I think Illinois, which is my lock of the week, my $1,000 pick, and we'll explain that later. Illinois is going to surprise because I like their quarterback, and I think their style has to stay within, even though they got a new OC, their style has to stay within what I think Brett Bielema still wants to do, run the football. They have a great running back. So I think Illinois I have at 5-7. I'm going off memory on this. So, and then on the East, obviously I have Ohio State 12-0, whatever. I mean, I don't even like talking about them. It's just an embarrassment of riches. Like when I look at their receivers, you just like, man, can you just give up one of those to Iowa? Like it's an embarrassment of riches. And if their new defensive coordinator does fix things, because what hurt Ohio State is their defense was terrible, right? I mean, it wasn't even serviceable. If Parker was their DC, can you imagine what Ohio State would do? I mean, God. Yeah, exactly.
They'd be in the title game every year.
Oh, good Lord. And they'd probably win it most of the time.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, Alabama's defense isn't any better.
No.
They just outscore people.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I laugh about the SEC. Everybody says the SEC plays defense. No, they don't.
No, they don't. They just outscore each other. Who
Kentucky
can score the Bulls?
Georgia does. Those are the two teams that play defense. But below them, now I got both Michigan State and Michigan 10-2 because I love Peyton Thorne as Michigan State's quarterback. I think he's really good. And I think Michigan State will fix their defense. You can't be as bad at defense. Like everybody talks about how Michigan State would beat Iowa, right? Well, they're the exact opposite of Iowa. They literally had the worst passing defense in the country. That's why Ohio State had 50 points in the first half. You remember that game, Ohio State, Michigan State? People were talking like, about that game like it was a shock. No, every team Michigan State played passed the ball on them. So, but I think they'll get that fixed. So I have both Michigan and Michigan State 10-2. And then below them, I have, was it?
I'd have Rutgers next, probably.
I think I have Maryland.
Or Maryland, yeah.
I think Maryland's going to surprise some people this year. They're another team that they started figuring things out after the Iowa game. I feel like something happened during the Iowa game where their QB just kind of started throwing stuff up. Did you see some of his picks were just silly picks?
I don't remember the guy's name, but their best receiver got hurt on a kick return.
Yeah, he did. You're right. And he's back.
And next thing you know, that game just got away from them fairly early, and it was one of those things that that was just a snowball game. I think really it was just one of those things where that snowball started rolling downhill on Maryland, and when that happens, it spiraled out of control on them. I don't think they were a better team than what they showed that night, and I'm kind of glad. But
well, yeah, I mean it worked out well for Iowa. But when I rewatched that game because I like watching the defense, because that game looked like Iowa had 20 players on defense out there. But when you actually look at it, the quarterback for Maryland, man, he just threw one right to Belton. He threw one to Schultz. Like he was just handing out interceptions. It wasn't like it was a great play by the defense. It was if the defense dropped the ball, you better not celebrate. It was one of those. Don't celebrate when you get a ball hit you right in the hands and you drop it.
Right.
Even if it is a pass breakup. So, but I have Maryland. I think they take the next step. And then Rutgers, I think I have it 5-7. I think Rutgers will be better. I think they're getting better and better. And they will with Coach Schiano.
Yep.
So, who did I? Oh, Penn State.
Yeah, where do you got them at?
I completely forgot. Like I said, I'm going off memory. Penn State I have at 9-3.
Okay.
So the East side, my top four: Ohio State 12-0, Michigan State and Michigan at 10-2, and then Penn State at 9-3. So and then Maryland at 7-5.
So I'm hoping that Iowa can catch a little momentum here, because we've got Nebraska Northwestern today. I want to say Penn State is playing Purdue week 1.
Yep.
And
right.
here's an opportunity.
That's a Thursday night game, I believe, too. So we'll get it before the Iowa even kicks off.
And we could see Nebraska and potentially Purdue with Big Ten conference losses. Before Iowa's,
which I think, obviously, I think Nebraska will lose before they play Iowa. But you're right. I think Purdue gets beat by Penn State. So, I mean, I really don't. I for the life of me, have you guys seen all the love that Minnesota and Purdue are getting?
They're getting a lot of love, but
it's crazy. Like Purdue don't have any receivers. They think the backup wide receivers from Iowa are going to go to Purdue and light it up. And Tracy, they've already pretty much said, dude, you better play running back. You're not going to play receiver.
Well, I think you'll find it funny. I have to go off of memory here, but I actually had Minnesota, because after going by game on their schedule, at 4-5 in the West, in 5th place behind Nebraska and Purdue, which I had both of them at 5-4, because I just went through their schedules and said, hey, they can beat this team, they can beat that team, or they won't beat this team. There's no way. And I kind of look at it that way, schedule by schedule. And I ended up with Iowa at 1st place. And did I have Wisconsin in 2nd, Paul? Do you remember?
I believe you did.
I did. Yeah. Same record. I had them at the same record as you, Jason.
You know what I think happens sometimes when we're talking about like Purdue and Minnesota? People they either want to be the smartest guy in the room, right? So they're going to make this kind of prediction so that they can try to look like the smartest guy. Or it's what you're looking at, especially in the West, is everybody's flawed in the West, right? I mean, we don't have an Ohio State. There's nobody that's head and shoulders above everybody else in the league, in the division. So now it's just a matter of trying to kind of predict, okay, well, whose flaws are, the thing. I don't want to say Iowa can hide their flaws, but Iowa schemes around their flaws. We play to our strengths, which is the defense and special teams. And we understand that we don't have a NASCAR offense, and we're not going to win shootouts and outscore people. So we don't try to do that. And that goes back to your point, Jason, about Iowa and getting to a top 50 or top 75 offense. The fact of the matter is, look, we're playing for that 2 possession lead. We want to get to that 10, 14, and then just take the air out of the football. That's our plan.
That's what fans don't understand. That's the 100% what fans don't understand.
Right, yeah.
I mean, think about Iowa Penn State last year. If KF wanted to get yards, he wouldn't have taken a knee, right? You remember at the end of the game, they literally took a knee and then punted the ball. Because KF knew there was no way that QB for Penn State was going to beat him. Right. He already knew the game's locked up. The only way to lose this game would be a pick six, a fumble, because our defense is going to win the game, which is what he wants.
Right.
And what fans don't understand, that's what Parker wants.
Right.
Parker loves working for KF because Parker is the all-star, right? It's on Parker's shoulders to win games, and that's what Parker wants.
Yeah. We all have to understand. I think the 3 of us understand the way Iowa works, and how they decide to win games. It may not be the prettiest way they win. It may not be the flashiest, and they're definitely not NASCAR offense.
No.
And then they don't run. What do you call that? What do they call it? Temple.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, but not very often. And so you know that when you're watching Iowa, if they get up 14-17 to nothing, you know that it's going to go in cruise control the rest of the game. The ball's going to be run a lot more, thrown only as needed, and that's the way it's going to be. And unfortunately, 2 years ago against Nebraska, we got up 17 to nothing, and we went into cruise control, and it come back to bite us.
You mean Northwestern?
Yeah, what did I say? Nebraska?
Yeah.
I get them mixed up sometimes. I don't know why. They're 2 different teams.
That's the one game that they really didn't remember. Peaches threw the ball 50 times that day.
Yeah, I
50
forgot about that. We were
passes.
trying to do something we don't do.
Right.
And BF came out and talked about it and talked about how hard it was to run against that Northwestern defense. And if you remember, Northwestern did the same thing to Wisconsin.
Right.
They shut Wisconsin's running game down, and Wisconsin had to throw the ball like 35 times or more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what Northwestern did that to people because their front seven was so good that year. But throwing it 50 times, I mean, when you have a 17-0 lead, that was strange. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that was.
I guarantee you, Sunday morning, Kirk kicked in Brian's door. He didn't knock. He gave it the old Hayden Fry kick.
Yeah.
and all he looked at him square in the eye and said, 50 passes. We were up 17-0. 50 passes. 50.
Right.
50. 50.
All right, guys. Hey.
Anything else, Brian? Run the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Did I
As we
miss
said-
anybody in the East? I don't even remember now.
What's that?
Did I miss anybody in the East?
No, you didn't. You got them.
Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. But I'm assuming you got them in last place.
Yeah, I have Indiana. However, I love Connor. Connor Bazelak. He was my number 5 quarterback coming out of high school. He ended up going to Missouri. And he transferred to Indiana this year. I absolutely love him, but I have to see their offense, what they're going to do with him.
Right.
He is a thrower. Like he would do well at Iowa if he could do the under center stuff.
Indiana has always been talented on offense. They always have. What's always killed Indiana is their defense, and teams could just outscore them. I mean, I think one year they had Iowa down by 4 touchdowns, and Iowa came back and won the game by a couple touchdowns.
2009.
Yeah.
2009, yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the Tyler Sash pinball game.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah, Sash and then the McNutt. The 80-yard touchdown.
Oh, was that the Happy
drag
Halloween, Iowa City?
Yes.
Yeah. That was the 80-yard. Like his guy fell down trying to reach for him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize McNutt was that fast during that play.
I still run into that play on YouTube. People have that YouTube play out.
Yeah.
I want to we don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to hit on those 2 games today for the Big Ten. We got Nebraska and Northwestern playing in probably about an hour from now. Right?
3 hours from now.
3 hours.
Are we there?
We went over this, Dean.
I know it.
You live in California.
8:30, right? 8:30 my time. They're on. Or 9:30. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
9:30 your time. Yeah.
I'll be in front of the TV. But I wanted to know if you guys we kind of hit on the game a little bit, and so you guys wanted to just touch on the game and what you think, and then we'll go into the Illinois and Wyoming game, and that'd be a good place for Jason to talk about his bet.
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Paul.
All right, so if I'm not wrong on this, and I could be, I don't do a lot of sports gambling. I don't do any sports gambling. It's not legal here in Florida, so we can't even do the website stuff. Anyway, I want to say I heard that Nebraska is like a 17-point favorite.
13.
13. Okay, they're 13. I still think that's a huge number, especially early in the season when a lot of times defenses are ahead of offenses. My guess is that this game is close at halftime. It might even be a little on the ugly side. It could be like a 3-0, 7-3 kind of score at halftime. I do think Nebraska does have too much talent for Northwestern. I think their defense is going to allow them to hang around in this one. In the end, though, I think I could see this being like a 2017 kind of score in Nebraska's favor. And I don't know that Northwestern's going to put up a ton of points. Now, the question really becomes, if the game is close toward the end, does Nebraska give it away?
Right.
And because until they prove that they can't, that question has to linger out there.
Well, I got a theory on that. They've got 16 portal transfers this year that have experience, and I'm sure know how to win the game, and they're going to put that experience to use today.
All right. Scott Frost is 5-15 in one-score games. I mean, that says a lot. Kirk
Right.
Ferentz is the opposite. It's called game day coaching. Scott Frost has to figure it out.
Yeah.
One-score games come down to the coaches more than what people want to believe in their decision making.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have, and Paul was reading my freaking mind, so stop it. Because I do have the game 20-17 Nebraska as well. I would even say 17-14 just to go away from Paul's score. but the way I got there is a little different because I know Whipple's career. Like I know who, and he's their offensive coordinator. If you guys didn't know, he's one of those. He would be a very bad high school coach because he doesn't adjust. Like he will put a square peg into a round hole and try to figure out to make it fit. He has his way, and he's going to call the game his way, which is why he always had issues with Pittsburgh's head coach. They would argue every year up until this year when it started working because, he had Kenny Pickett, right? Which he had Kenny Pickett those first 2 years, but he wasn't what he is now, right? So, and Casey Thompson he has a lot to learn. Whipple's offense is tougher to learn what people want to believe. So unless Whipple does some kind of turnaround, because Scott Frost tells him we have to run the football, until we get our legs under us, because they could beat Northwestern. I believe they have some great backs. That Yant kid, that big kid, he's just really good. But I just think there's going to be mistakes. Like I have Casey Thompson throwing the ball. If he throws the ball 40 times, he'll end up with like 2 picks, 2 touchdowns, and Nebraska might even lose. But if he keeps it around 30 times and they run the football, I think Nebraska will wear down Northwestern because they do have the talent to do that. And the score will be like 20-17 all.
Well, then from what I'm hearing out of this is we may get to continue to see Nebraska putting the fun in dysfunction. And
yeah,
so
you're right.
I'm rooting for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Does a Northwestern win necessarily make them a contender for the Big Ten West this year?
Well, it is an even year. I
know. I've been hearing all week. It's an even year. Watch out for the Northwestern on the even years.
I'm a huge believer in karma. The reason why I'm so successful with my gambling isn't just my brain; it's karma. There's something that goes on at Northwestern. They have an angel on the field. I don't know. Everything goes their way. You ever seen that movie, Angel in the Outfield?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The Angel wasn't allowed to be there for the playoffs.
The Angels are on the field for Northwestern during the even years. I don't understand it. Everything falls to them, right? Look how just terrible they are the year before that happens. Mm-hmm. It's just the strangest thing. So to me, that's kind of fun.
They had the year before they won the West, they had quarterback issues. They brought in the Indiana transfer who actually was a pretty good quarterback. He knew when to make the plays with his legs. He knew when to make the plays, and he was a very accurate thrower. And I think he, along with the Northwestern's defense that year, helped them win the West. And they didn't have a true quarterback last year again. Well, and I just think if Northwestern must have the type of offense that they really need a smart, capable, serviceable quarterback, because they've always had that in the past.
They got to have a third down quarterback.
Don't they have like a 5-star transfer from Clemson at quarterback?
He went back to Clemson.
Did he?
He couldn't figure out Northwestern's offense, so he just went back to Clemson. They have Tyler Helinski as their quarterback, and he's really good. He's from South Carolina. His family, his brother, if you guys didn't know, committed suicide at Washington State.
I did not know that.
He was really good quarterback in Mike Leach's system, and he committed suicide. So Tyler's had some family, issues or whatever. So, but he's a really good quarterback. I believe he was a 4-star coming out of high school. He was an Elite 11 quarterback. So, but he was on the team last year and struggled, right? So maybe a whole year. Maybe it's like Iowa where he just couldn't figure out the system, but this year he's got it figured out more. It's kind of what I'm hoping for him.
Yeah.
You know what I
root
heard
for him.
if Nebraska doesn't pull this out today, Trev Alberts is going to make Scott Frost ride the Titanic back from Iowa.
Yeah, there might be a red tag hanging on the door on his office door when he gets back.
Right. There's no doubt in my mind that the pressure's on Scott Frost to win this year because they pretty much told him that.
Yeah.
And so if he loses this game, look, watch out. I mean, the pressure's on because he's got to find a way to get at least 7 to 8 wins this year.
And it's an interesting thing because he didn't walk into a situation that Kirk Ferentz walked into when he got here in '99.
He walked into a 9-3 team, didn't he?
Exactly. He took over a program that was already pretty
No,
good.
I'm sorry, he did not. That previous coach also failed to win. It was the 2 previous coaches that were 9-3.
Yeah, but even still, that he took over a team that had that was in a better place than where Kirk took over, and so people were patient with, and Kirk wasn't the favored son and things like that. I mean,
but you got to remember, Kirk won and went to a bowl game his 3rd season. Has Scott Frost been to a bowl game yet?
Scott Frost hasn't beaten Iowa.
I know they haven't beaten Iowa. He hasn't beaten Iowa, but I don't think he's had a winning season yet.
At least their only win last year in conference play was Northwestern.
Yeah,
if I recall. So
right, okay. Let's move on to Illinois and Wyoming, and obviously, I think we probably all feel that Illinois wins this game. So, Jason, why don't you just talk about why you put so much money on this game and how confident you are on it?
Well, my $1,000 bets are it's in the 75% range is how confident I am. So it's when I say $10,000 bet, it's the 100%, 90 to 100%. But so the $1,000 bet, the reason why I'm 75% on this is Wyoming lost everybody. Wyoming was a casualty to the transfer portal. And this might start happening to all the small schools, just to be honest. Because if you're not heavily recruited, you go to Wyoming and you ball out, like their leading rusher, their quarterback was good. Like they're going to transfer to like UCLA or somewhere, right? So Wyoming took a lot, and they're returning offensive linemen. Do you know how many starts are on Wyoming's offensive line? 6. They have 6 starts on their offensive line. They lost their middle linebacker, who was all everything.
Are you talking about Chad Muma?
Yeah.
He's now a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Is he really?
Yep. We drafted him in the 3rd round.
Jeez, for real in the 3rd? Well, hell, he was all everything.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Paul, I saw some predictions on the Jaguars. They're predicted to win 5 or 6 games this year, so you guys can start dancing in the streets.
but anyway, the reason why I know Illinois they have a new OC, but I still feel like it'll be like a Kirk Ferentz situation where it still will be, Bielema's style, right? I think they could just pound it at Wyoming. The talent at Illinois, just Craig Bull at Wyoming is going to have some issues this year, I believe. Now, week 0 bets, though, I don't ever have a 90 to 100% lock in week 0 or week 1 because you don't know how these teams play. So I just kind of went through everything and tried to figure out which game I would, bet on. And this one is mostly about Wyoming, more about Wyoming than it is about Illinois. I just think Illinois could literally run the ball on every down and win this game comfortably.
Right.
I have Illinois winning 24-7. So I just think they're just going to basically dominate the football game, but they don't run the no huddle. So they're going to just take over the game, right? The clock's still going to move. They're not going to score, 40 points or whatever, but they're just going to just go down the field. They're going to score, and they're going to win 24-7.
Yeah, Illinois is on the verge of becoming Wisconsin 2.0.
I mean, it's possible.
I think so. But although Barry Alvarez had that team built that way before Belima got there, and Belima just continued it.
Well, right, but he just has the same style, though. That's what people don't understand.
Right.
I mean, he took over the team, but he had the exact same style, so it helped. Remember, Wisconsin hired that Erickson dude, who was only there 1 year as head coach.
Right, he left.
And he had freaking Melvin Gordon, and he wouldn't hand the ball to Melvin Gordon. Like, he wanted to pass the ball. So, like, his style, I don't know how he got hired in the first place, unless he told Alvarez that, yeah, I'll do that. And then he got there. And
yeah. Well, you know, with Alvarez still being athletic director, he still had his hand in that in that program. He didn't let go of it that easily.
Well, that's why he fired him after 1 year.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Utah State. So
at least Wisconsin didn't go to a horizontal offense, which is what we did under Greg Davis.
Valid point. And 2012, you want to know why KF is scared to just give away the offense? 2012, Davis's first year, he talked him into this national championship offense he ran with Vince Young. I mean,
right.
Come on. You got to have players that do what you did that year. Greg Davis, his style wasn't going to go work at Iowa. You don't have Vince Young making up for your bad play calls.
Right.
Right? So, I mean.
Or Brad Banks.
And he gave away to this philosophy. If you remember, Iowa was trying to throw the ball on every down, spreading the field. They used that running back to be a wide receiver and running back. Gosh, he ended up transferring to Texas Tech. I can't think of his name. But anyway, I actually believe he passed now. I think he died in a car wreck or something.
Right.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He was one of my favorite players. I can't think of his name. He's out of St. Louis.
I think he wore number 5 at Iowa, didn't he?
Yeah. But anyway, so because he was a good receiver, so that's why they were 4-8 that year. And KF doesn't want to be 4-8 again. And think about that was 2012 and 2013. Both of them were bad years. And then 14 got better. You know, they went to that bowl game and got trashed. And then obviously 2015 happened. So KF gave away to a national championship offensive coordinator, you know, the offense, and it didn't work. So when people want to talk about, oh, we've been so bad, yeah. I mean, we had a national championship offense coordinator come in, but he couldn't bring Vince Young with him.
No, he couldn't.
Well, I feel like too, and I bag on Davis's offense, and I think we all do. I think part of the problem was Kirk didn't actually give over the offense to him completely. They were trying to run kind of this hybrid Iowa offense with Davis's passing scheme. It was dysfunctional and disjointed, and I remember Vandenberg had a good year before Davis arrived, and then he just went to crap as a senior, and it was just anyway.
Oh, it was because he wanted to run that 4 and 5 wide. He wanted to run the no huddle, you know, like I said, with Bullock out there, so he could run the ball and throw it. So like the offense was just like, I mean, it was weird. No matter how you look at it, the point is KF does not want that to happen again. So,
which is why he kicked down Brian's door after the Northwestern game. 50 passes, Brian. 50.
All right.
Give me your headset.
Guys, it's a good place to end this. And so,
yes,
you know, we just want to remind everybody about Terri Sensies. You know, don't forget to show her some love. She's helping us keep this on the air for us. And so
turn it around, Paul.
We appreciate it. We appreciate her agreeing to do it. And I will have her web address because I know I don't keep it up that long, but I'll have it in the description on the YouTube channel and on Facebook as well. So you guys should be able to click the link and make it real easy. Guys, I want to thank you for this. I think we're doing this again on Monday. Are we correct? Are we all on board on that?
If you guys want to, or we can wait till Friday for game day. I mean,
yeah, I'd like to wait till Friday. I have some stuff I've got to do this week. So
that's no
fired up for the Iowa game.
unless
no
we
problem.
want
We'll break down the Iowa game and South Dakota and State and who I did look it up. It's right here. They are ranked number 2 in their division, right behind North Dakota State.
Yeah, they are.
This team is better than we think it is.
No, they are. I know exactly who they are. They're
Yeah.
not better than I think they are.
Uh-huh.
Their quarterback was a player of the year 2
Mhm.
years ago, but he got hurt. He came back. He's a running quarterback.
Mhm.
I know exactly who they are. But
Okay.
Iowa is better than who you think they are. That's the
I'm
point.
they are who we
They
thought
have
they
these
were.
brothers. They have these brothers, the Yonkin boys.
Mhm.
You'll see the Yonkin boys. They're the receivers, but their quarterback isn't like last year's quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Right.
So this quarterback got hurt. Then they got this transfer from Florida State or somewhere
Mhm.
to transfer to him, and then now he is in the NFL. So I know exactly who South Dakota State is.
Okay, all right.
They're not giving Iowa enough credit.
Okay,
They have
maybe I'm
they have
not.
these pieces for Division II football or
Yeah.
Division 1A, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
FCS.
I want to say this. I'm still burned because I was in the stands when we lost to North Dakota State. I was in the stands that day. And
Dean has PTSD.
and I was sitting around a bunch of North Dakota State fans who didn't let me forget that we lost the game. Okay.
But that's because Akron Wadley didn't touch the ball. You know why App State beat Michigan? Because Mike Hart didn't touch the ball. That's what I'm saying about how important coaches really are.
Right.
Akron Wadley was destroying North Dakota State when he got the ball, but they stopped giving it to him because they thought they could do all this stupid stuff and win the game.
Yeah.
It's
Well, the
about
guy who
taking
was the North Dakota
opponents
State
seriously.
coach at the time,
Who?
the guy who was the North Dakota State coach at the time, I think it was Chris Kleiman or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
he's
he's at Kansas State now.
Yep, he's at Kansas State.
He's the guy I would like to see replace Kirk Ferentz when Kirk Ferentz decides it's time to go on his horse and ride the happy trails. But he's the guy I'd like to see eventually. The guy went to school at my old high school in Iowa, and he coached there, and then he moved on to UNI and coached there. And this guy has had nothing but success wherever he's landed. And
He took
Let's
over
see what
for
he does
Craig
with
Bowl.
Adrian Martinez.
Hmm?
Let's see what he does with Adrian
Hey,
Martinez.
I guarantee you, Adrian's going to look like a whole new quarterback this year. I can guarantee it.
I think somebody's a little biased, but I mean, I agree. But wouldn't that say something about Scott Frost?
Yeah.
If
Well,
all of a sudden,
Adrian's already saying it. He's already saying it since he's been at Kansas State. He said the difference is like night and day.
right?
By the way, Jason,
Yes.
does Dean have a little Joe Tiller look to him today, or is it just me?
Has a little what?
He does look like Joe Tiller.
Did you guys even notice I shaved the beard?
Yeah, that's what you look like, Joe Tiller.
That's not a good thing, guys.
You need to get that mustache.
I just
Right.
need the mustache, right?
That's what it is. It's the mustache. Take diabetes for us just once.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. It was
Hey.
fun. I appreciate you guys and thank you.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Please subscribe. We're almost begging you. We need and want to get to 1,000K. Okay, I promise you. Just subscribe. If you don't want to watch it when it pops up, watch it at your convenience.
Right.
But just go ahead and subscribe so you can help us get to 1,000. We appreciate it.
If there's something you guys want to hear us talk about or discuss or break down or whatever, leave your questions in the comments and we'll address it on our next show.
We
Yeah.
will. We
Heck
will.
yeah.
There
And if
you
you
go.
want to make some money, follow this show. I'll give you my picks.
There we go.
He already gave you Illinois, guys, over Wyoming. Is it too late for them to go out and put money on it? Is it closed?
Oh no, it's too late for him to get 13 probably. It started at 10. See, I actually got in at 10. If you saw my first post, I put 10. But then I went and looked again, it was 13. So people are pouring money on Illinois.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Let's go watch some football and let's have some fun. All right.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you guys on
See
Friday.
ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.